So you're moving to Maryland, you've asked a few of your friends, and they said you should live in Severna Park. And they've probably told you some great things about living here, right? But they told you the bad things? Have they given you any cons about living in Severna Park? Severna Park as a whole is an amazing place to live. I mean, my office is here, right? But there are some cons. And if the cons outweigh the pros, then maybe you shouldn't live here. But if the pros outweigh the cons, then it's probably the perfect place for you. So let's get into those. Now, your typical YouTube video or your typical video you see about areas is going to have a pros and cons list, and they're going to start with all the pros. But in reality is, let's hear the cons first, right? Let's go through the cons. What are the bad things? Because if I can deal with those bad things, then this may be the perfect place for me to live, and I'll love all the pros. If you just want to hear the pros, go halfway through this video, and I'll get into them then. So let's start with the cons. All right, so your first con is affordability, right? If somebody tells you a great place to live, it's usually not the cheapest place to live because there's probably a lot of amazing things there. So that creates a con of it's also not that affordable to live there. And Severna Park, it's not exempt from that, right? Houses here, your starter houses are going to start from the low 500s, right? There may even be some work you need to do. You may get a garage, you may not, you may have a carport, you may not. You may even have to park on the street in some places, but highly doubtful, right? In this area, there isn't any condos and townhouses, right? So it's all single families, all in a little yard, and then you've got water access, waterfront, golf clubs, you got a whole lot of different variables in here, and your single families are gonna start in the low fives. They're all gonna go all the way up to about 8 million to 12 million. Now those houses haven't sold yet, but they're on the market at 8 and 12 million, so you can see there's a huge price spread here. But to get in for a starter house, you're looking low, mid fives. So when you're talking about affordability, yeah, you better be ready to come and spend here. So the second thing is competition. All right, so that's right on the back end of affordability. When you have nice areas that usually have great price tags to them or high price tags to them, they're going to be competitive. And the ones here that are really competitive, great condition, probably have water access, probably have waterfront, maybe they're at the golf club. I mean, if you see a house that's perfect for you, you really got to be thinking there's 12 other people that are going to love this house. So what does that mean for you, right? It means that if you find that perfect house, you better be ready to go over list price, better be ready to waive some of your contingencies like home inspection or appraisal or even HOA contingencies. People will waive them to get in this area. Now, why is it so competitive? Because people come and establish their family here, right? This is where they spend the next 30 years of their life. So going all out on that house in the long run really doesn't mean a lot to them because they get to put their kids in the school system, they get to be in the community, and they get to take advantage of all the pros, which we're gonna get into here shortly. The third con is nightlife. Okay, now if you're from the South, you probably see everything closes at 7 p.m. Severna Park is just like that. A raging night in Severna Park is a trip out to Froyo House at 8 p.m. That's really a raging nightlife in Severna Park. Maybe you're getting a drink at Brian Baru, or you're hanging out at JB's, watching the end of the sporting event, but there really isn't any nightlife here. The good part about this is, though, is that the nightlife here is created in the communities. It's on the back decks, it's on the waterfront, it's on the beaches and the piers. That's where you're gonna find the really cool nightlife. Communities, families, all getting together, cooking some food, having some drinks, and enjoying the lifestyle that they paid to live in, right? So the nightlife is not in nightclubs and late night restaurants here. It's on the water, it's in the communities, it's on your back deck. And on the back end of that, that leads us to our fourth con. So if you are single and you're ready to mingle, I mean, I wouldn't target Severna Park. You could, if you like peace and quiet, you know, but it's just not that lifestyle. The fifth thing is there's not a lot of public transportation here, right? There's a bus system that runs on Ritchie Highway and down Baltimore Annapolis Boulevard, a couple of the other side streets. But if you're dependent on public transportation to get to and from work, from your house, or really from your community, this just isn't the spot for that, right? You're gonna be stuck taking Ubers day in and day out, which is gonna add up, and it's probably not gonna make any sense. You know, either that or you're gonna have somebody in your community to take you or one of your family members, but public transportation is not a big thing here. We do have a bus system, but outside of that, you're gonna be on your own. So last but not least, the sixth and final con is restaurants. Now what I'm saying here, before all the restaurants in Severna Park jump down my throat, is we don't have bad restaurants here. We just don't have a lot of variety here. right? There's an overwhelming amount of variety of different restaurants here. We've got phenomenal places like Cafe Mez. Their Italian food is amazing, right? And they're super involved in the community. Signor Chile's, which is, the owner of that place has a great story. Little Carmine's, closest to New York City pizza you're gonna find, right? We've got little spots like that. Then we've got really little hidden gems, which are two of my favorites, like Garten. Make sure you get the hash brown on the brunch. It's amazing. It's like this big. It's like a brick hash brown. And then La Posta. Coal fire pizza. The Diavolo pizza is, there's no comparison to it. It's unbelievable, and it's right across the street from my office. I'm actually probably gonna walk there after this. A couple other spots here, homegrown, Gary's, want a burger and fries, awesome. And then newer places, like Vivi's, chicken tender place, owners are amazing. What I'm saying is there's not a lot of variety, not high-end steakhouses or Indian food, Mediterranean food, not a lot of different variety here. The restaurants here are amazing, but the variety is just not here. So if you're looking for that, you probably got to venture outside of Severna Park. Okay, so you made it this far. You've got through the cons. You're thinking, I probably still like this place. I want to hear what the pros are. So you're leaning towards moving into the area. Remember, I'm a real estate agent. My info's below. Reach out if you have any additional questions, and I'll be there to help you with anything you need. So let's get to the pros. The first pro here, and I think it's one of the most obvious ones, is the lifestyle. It's a much slower pace here. People get out of DC, Baltimore, and downtown Annapolis to live in Severna Park to get into the pace of life here because it's much slower. This is a very water-oriented community. Like we talked about nightlife before in a con, right? A lot of people don't spend nights out partying at bars and whatnot. They spend nights down at the water, right? They take their boats out during the weekends, right? They rip around on their jet skis. They tie up with all their friends out on the Magothy or on the Severn, or they'll pull up to the Point over in Arnold. It's a slower pace of life, and I can't forget the lifestyle part here. That's one of the most attractive things is the B&A trail. And it's all from Glen Burnie, like basically down through Arnold. And on the B&A trail is a lot of the shops in Severna Park. So if you head down here on Saturday or Sunday, or even in the evening, go get an acai bowl, you can stop over at the sugar shop and little local businesses, hang out down on the trail, ride your bike, meet with friends, and just enjoy being outside. Because the lifestyle here is being outside. The second thing here is community. Like, there are really, really great mature communities around here that have a lot of events that go on, but not just in the communities, in the city as a whole. The Chamber of Commerce does a great job with setting up things like the parade and events downtown and all sorts of things for you to do with you, your family, or maybe you just want to take the wife or the husband out for a nice little day and go to a little event down here. It's the perfect place to do that, right? There's also not a lot of congestion here. There's no condos and no townhouses here. So everybody's in a single family, usually with a yard, and they're very dependent on what their community offers as far as amenity to be around some other people. So there's huge communities with a lot going on, a lot of planning, and people are very involved in it, right? And I find that to be a huge plus because maybe you're looking for something to do on a Friday evening in the spring, and you find out there's a little beach get together on a community or a friend's community. You guys get together and go down and hang there, take your family down, and it's the perfect Friday night. Now the third thing here is location. I would say this is the second most important one outside of the one I'm going to give you later of why people actually live in this area. Right? It's close to DC, it's close to Annapolis, and it's close to Baltimore. You can get to Annapolis in about 20 minutes, you can get to DC in about 45, you can get to Baltimore in about 30. Now, some of you are going to comment and say, you got traffic, there's a lot of traffic there. Of course, you got to brace for the traffic. But outside of traffic times, those are the allotted times to get to those different locations to come back and live in such a great place. The other thing about location is we're 20 minutes from BWI Airport. So let's say you bought an amazing house that's got awesome water access, or maybe it's waterfront. You want to show it off to your friends and family, and they fly in from out of town. Once they tell you that they just picked up their bags, you can go and get them because you're only 20 minutes away. Or in the wintertime, you want to take the family up to New York City to walk around, see some of the Christmas, some of the holiday things going on, spend a night at Radio City Music Hall. You don't have to drive up there. 20 minutes down the road, hit the MARC train station, up and back. You could take an Uber there. It's the easiest trip around. And as far as location goes, if you live in Maryland, more than likely during the summer, you're going to the beach. And to get to the beach, you got to go across the Bay Bridge. You say that to any Marylander, and they're going to think traffic, oh my God, it's going to take you forever, right? My parents live in Ellicott City, which is a little more inland. So if there's traffic to the Bay Bridge, it's going to take them about an hour to get to the Bay Bridge. Typically with us, we're about 20 minutes from the Bay Bridge. We're going to jump an exit right ahead of everybody else, and we'll be able to get across that bridge much quicker than anybody else can. While my parents and the rest of the people inland are sitting on long lines of traffic down 97 or down Route 50 trying to get to the Bay Bridge. So the closer you are, really, the better your summer is going to be because you can get down to the beach more. The fourth thing, the weather. The weather here is unbelievable. Now, we've covered this before. There's like 12 to 16 seasons in Maryland, but the weather here, for the most part, is really awesome. Our winters are very mild. Now, we do occasionally get a nor'easter, or like this year, we got 2 feet of ice. So every few years, we get a couple of feet of snow. But for the most part, each year, we get somewhere between like 6 and maybe 12 inches of snow, and the winters are pretty mild. Usually between 35 and 45 degrees. You do have your outlier of the 3, 5, and 10 degree days. They're not months of them, right, where you're completely dependent on your wood stove to heat your house. It's pretty mild. And when it comes to the summer, right now it's 100 degrees outside, but we've got all this water around us, so let's just go and have fun out in the water, right? It's something you can get through because, I mean, I don't love the 100 degrees, but I'd rather be that than 0 degrees. Especially in this area, when you've got access to boats and your friends have pools and jet skis and all these different activities outside. So the weather here overall is pretty awesome. And like I've said before, there's some little sleeper seasons in there, and we'll teach you about them when you get here. The fifth pro, which I absolutely adore about this place, is there are a ton of small businesses here. It is not very commercialized, right? There's a ton of small businesses. Now, at the end of the cons, you heard me talk about restaurants and like being variety, and not the restaurants aren't bad, they're great. It's just a lot of variety here. But the small businesses here, like this is the heartbeat of Severna Park. We've got food places. You got to go to Always Ice Cream. You got to try the cookie butter. It's unbelievable, right? The guys that own it are super involved in the community. We love them. We love that place. We're there way too much during the summer. You've got the Donut Shack, which I just brought a dozen donuts in last week. That's been family owned for forever. You got LaRouche Bakery. They sell the bread from Ingrano. And actually, fun story, had a little party for the Masters golf tournament. And they were selling the pimento cheese, which I love. Then right next door is the Sugar Shop. That was an antique store a few years ago. Went through a full renovation. And if you want to get a sugar high, go in there. They got a ton of different selections. It's owned locally, and the place is just awesome. So the small businesses, as far as food-wise goes, that they make the heartbeat in Severna Park. And other small businesses, you got Park Books and Lit Lab. My good friend Melody owns this place. It's right down in the shopping center. And I think nationally she's known now because authors are coming in for signings. Now what they're doing here is absolutely incredible. They've got tutoring. They've got a great book selection. They've got little tchotchkes. They just expanded their place. They've got authors coming in from all across the country for signings. She can help you find anything. She can order anything. It's such a huge addition to this community because, you know, the really good stories are in the books. They're not in the movie theater. And Melody will probably tell you that. Some other small businesses I love, the Cottage. You want really good Maryland stuff, go to the Cottage. Things you can hang in your house, furniture, clothing. The Cottage has some really good higher-end things for your house, for you, wearables, all that. Go right to the Cottage and get that. People that own it are amazing as well. And let's say you've bought too much stuff from the Cottage, or maybe you just went on a spending spree on, you know, Marshalls or Nordstrom or whatever it is, and you wanted to trade some things in, Savvy Consignment. Go over there, have them consign it out. You drop off a bunch of stuff there every week and maybe make a little extra money while also helping a small business. The small businesses are what makes Severna Park really endearing and charming. Right? The people of the community that live here, that open up businesses, that depend on other people in the community to come there. I mean, you really can't ask for better than that. So yeah, this probably should be part of the community. Why is so much competition? Why the affordability is high? Like it should be a part of all these different categories because the small businesses across the country we know make the country. And this community especially, without any high rises or any commercialized places around here, This is what makes Severna Park what it is. And last but not least, the 6 Pro. And if you've been in this video for this long, you've probably been waiting for this one because you're moving your family in the area and you're wondering the schools, right? It's probably why somebody told you Severna Park is a great area. Flooded with 10 out of 10 schools. You got your elementaries, Severna Park Elementary, Folger McKinsey, and Jones Elementary. You got Severna Park Middle School, and you got Severna Park High School, which is recently just completely demoed and built from the ground up again, and it's immaculate, technologically so advanced. Their sporting fields are unbelievable. And these schools are blue ribbon schools, and they are second to none because they are the top rated schools in all of Anne Arundel County and continuously are top rated across the entire state. So if you're looking to send your family into good schools and good public schools, then this is the place to be. So maybe you're not into the public schools and you want to send your kid into private school, then Severna School is right in the middle of Severna Park. Right now, this is not going to be a freebie, right? You're going to have to open your wallet to get in there. They do have some scholarships, academics, and sports. The lacrosse team's amazing. And once you drive by, you'll see how cool the lacrosse field looks. Low key, I think Severna Park High School can compete with them in lacrosse. And I don't know, I'm probably going to get some hate for that, but that's all good. Severna Park High School lacrosse is awesome. But what I mean by that is Severna School is a place that you can send your kid if you don't want to go to public schools. You just got to be willing to pay for it. But overall, you have a really good public school option with not just academics, but you have very competitive sports as well. Severna Park High School, home of Jackson Merrill, is the only time I cheer for the Padres is when they're not playing the Orioles because I love Jackson Merrill and he's from this area. All right, so let's wrap it up. So you saw the cons, you're thinking about them, hopefully you wrote them down, and then you saw the pros. Thinking about them, write them down. What I would do, put them next to each other on a sheet of paper and see if one outweighs the other one. And if it does, and Severna Park is still at the top of your list, make sure you reach out to me below. You can send me an email and get in touch with me right away, and I can answer any other questions or maybe something I missed during this and help you make the transition nice and smooth. My name's Shawn Martin. Have a great day.